بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is a new episode of our program Spirit of Values, and we will continue here with the value of partnership. This is Dr. Tariq Rashid. I welcome you in this program. So in order to plan for our partnership, we have to think of the following. First, goals, objectives, and targets. What are the differences between all these words? Sometimes it appears that goals is like objectives or targets. The idea is a goal is the final destination we are trying to achieve. A goal represents the big picture. It's very general. To be more specific, we have to define the objectives. By defining the objectives, we can proceed in order to achieve, and then there are targets, which are measures that will help us control the objectives achievement. In order to go for partnership, they said that always for the objectives should be SMART. What do we mean by SMART objectives? First, S for specific. Be specific in defining your objectives. M, measurable. We have to set some sort of measures to be able to achieve the objectives. What about A, achievable, attainable? We should put all resources that would help us achieve our objectives are relevant to the goal, which means objectives should relate to the big picture of any organization, and T for time bound, which means we have to define the target timeline we need to achieve. Partnership will help you to accelerate achieving your objectives as well as your goals. So providing a monitoring framework, we have to set partnership, utilizing and investing all resources with partners effectively, and helping with our partners to cost control, because there is a problem now in the sustainability of resources, especially finance. Then we go with our partners and identify threats and opportunities. We live in a world of lots of threats, but also they said whenever you have a threat, there is a chance to get an opportunity and transfer threats into opportunities. So SMART objectives: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to the goal, time bound. And now they added to the word SMART. SMART is from the traditional management concept. They added ER. We have to be with what we call smarter objectives. E, environmental friendly. Ecosystems. We have to look for our mother nature. Most of all our issues come from the mother nature. We have to take care of environmental friendly objectives, and then because everything is continuously changing, all objectives could be reviewable, and we review our objectives progressively to make sure we are achieving our goals and objectives. But remember, partnership is a must in such achieving of our goals and objectives. In such a case, let me define what we define as RACI matrix. Whenever we have partners, we go here to the RACI matrix. Let's first discuss what is RACI matrix. First, you put the name of the partner. For example, you have a partner with an IT supplier, or for example, pharmaceutical industry, you go for with certain set of medical industrial organizations. So first, in the first column, define the name of the partner. What is the job title of or the name of organization, the industry? We define it in the second column. Then the R in the RACI, roles and responsibilities. What is the role of this partner in our project, in our program? What are the responsibilities associated? Then we move to define the A in the RACI, authorities, accountability given to each partner. Then in the C, whom to consult. In decision making, we have to be specific. Who is the reference? Whom to consult whenever we need to take a decision? This is the C in the matrix. And finally, I, whom to inform for implementation. So consultation means a reference for your decision. I is implementation. Once we define RACI matrix for each partner, for sure we will achieve. So just a review, quick review: responsibility and roles, authorities and accountabilities, whom to consult in decision, whom to inform in order to implement. Once the RACI is clear, then we can proceed with our partnership. And what we do in business, or whether it's private or non-private, NGOs, government, we do what we call situational analysis, institutional analysis, stakeholder analysis, target group analysis, problem analysis. This will help you to gain an overview about and insight about our current situation. So, stakeholder analysis. Who are the stakeholders? What is the definition of a stakeholder? Stakeholders are people, individuals, organizations, entities, local, regional, or international, that is affected and affecting our achievement of goals. So stakeholders are groups, people, individuals, entities, whether government or private, local, regional, or international, affected and affecting our business and our growth. So we have to carry this analysis in what we call stakeholder analysis. And this projects always come down to people who are the main players. If you want to implement, we need partnership. Stakeholders, then the individuals that have an interest, whether positive or negative, in the project. In this technique, we have to define different issues. Usually what we do with stakeholder analysis is we carry two main important issues in stakeholder analysis. Here is what we call the power. The power and the authority, and here is the interest. So if we analyze our partners based on power and interest, we can gain a full insight about what do I need from them. Sometimes what we do is, for the power, we define it in 3 levels: high power, medium power, low power. And also in the interest, the partner could have a high interest, medium interest, or low interest. So here we have 3 options for the power and 3 options for the interest. So we end with what we call 9 boxes in the matrix of our stakeholders. So we have low, medium, and high for the power, low, medium, and high for the interest. The most important partner is in this square. High power, high interest. We do really need such support from this partner. So HH. This is the things we don't need for partnership. Low power, low interest in our business. This is what we don't need. And here is what we call the medium in both issues. This is high, high, this is low, low, and this is medium, medium. So usually in the upper part, partnership is a must. However, in the lower part, stop having any partnership with all these in the lower part of this triangle. So define and make the stakeholder analysis to help you define what type of partnership and how can we achieve it. So this is what we call stakeholder analysis. But also we have to scan the environment surrounding the business. In order to scan this, we have to study the external environment. Partners will help in dealing with the environment. In scanning the environment, let's look for what we call commercial, financial, economical partnership. Do we need a financial support? Shall we go for banks with partnership, or do we have sufficient resources? We have to decide. But also, we have to study the environment based on the culture, the social, the psychological issues, and then the political, legal issues, physical and infrastructure. Technology is a must to study. By scanning all this environment, we can be sure what type of partnership, because at the end of the day, we are dealing with threats and opportunities. So another tool I would also recommend to base our partnership on is what we call the PESTEL tool. The PESTEL tool will define threats. Sometimes we have political threats. Sometimes we have economical. So political, economical, and social, technical, legal, and environmental. If we have political threats, for example, wars, strikes, we have to have partnership. Sometimes partnership with police department, sometimes partnership with Ministry of Interior Affairs. Economical partnership to be able to have some sort of financial support in order to move and achieve our business. Social environment includes people, their habits, the traditions. We have to apply this. Technical is very crucial now in a world of digitalizing and moving towards technology. We need very specific partnership with IT suppliers if we want to achieve. Then what about the legal issues concerning this? And finally, environmental issues to be scanned. By this, we can read all threats and move. For example, environmental threats is concerned with disasters, earthquakes, volcanoes, for example, floods, etc. Even countries need partnership. Even the strongest economical force in the world, whenever there is an earthquake, they ask for partnership of other countries. So partnership is the heart of achievement for any organization to move. So stakeholder analysis methodology. Identify all your stakeholders, getting back to the concept of RACI matrix, responsibilities, authorities, consultation, and implementation. Summarize briefly the characteristics of each stakeholder. Decide on purpose and focus on the analysis. What are the motivations and constraints for each partner? We should clarify this. What are the strengths and weaknesses for each partner? What are the expectations and perceptions? And what are the benefits from project results from partnership? Present the results of the analysis, discuss it, identify issues to carry forward for the project planning and program planning, and review it periodically to make the updates. So this is one of the main templates we use in the stakeholder analysis matrix. Name of the stakeholder group. What are their roles in the project or in the program that I am running in my organization? What are the motivators? Why should they come? Do I need them? How can I motivate them? But there are always constraints which is considered negative for partnership. So for each partnership, define motivators as well as constraints. Then what are the implications? Do they help in the design, in the strategy, or in the implementation? So this is a main concept of partnership. Relate this template with RACI matrix, then we can go and proceed in our partnership. Another tool to always consider is what we call the SWOT analysis. In the SWOT analysis, we can define it as environmental scanning tool. environmental scanning tool. S and W, strengths and weaknesses. For any partner, we have to define the strength of the partner, the weakness of the partner. Also, be very specific. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? Then define the opportunities and the threats. Mainly, we need partnership for the external environment, for opportunities and threats. For strengths and weaknesses, this is an inner issue. But be specific and define it exactly. This is one of the most important tools that we care for in the analyzing for partnership. So the phase number one in planning, analyze and organize all your resources. So we have different resources to consider: technical resources, human resources, materials and machinery, equipment, management, financial, facilities. All of these are resources. Do I need partnership in this, or can I achieve it by my own resources? This is part number one in the planning. Then we move to what we call capability matrix. We are using teams in implementation. So the capability matrix, we define each team member, number 1, 2, 3, but we have to define the competencies and the capabilities that we need in order for achievement of our goals. So define what types of capabilities you have. For example, capability 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then define the level of each capability: A, excellent; B, very good; C, average; D, low. Once we apply team resource capability matrix, we combine with RACI matrix and defining all types of stakeholders. By this, we are analyzing, planning for the better partnership to achieve our goals. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.